My lifestyle has been all built off my job is relationships, right?
Hello guys and welcome to Money Talks. Our main topics today will be how to build wealth from living in your highest values, doing what you love and creating a life of your dreams. My special guest today is Reggie Martin, Regional Director, VIP Celebrity Relations at the Venetian Hotel and Casino in Macau, and as he presents himself on Instagram, the most unknown but known the person in the world. Reggie is known for his high-profile connections and work in the entertainment industry. He is often seen with celebrities and influential figures such as David Beckham, Wolf Blitzer, and Donnie Yen. Welcome, Reggie, and thank you so much for accepting my invitation today.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Great. So let's start it right away. Reggie, we all have our unique set of higher values, those things that are really important to us. And usually, these things come from voids or challenges that we experienced as kids. And my question is, can you share what you perceive is a challenge or a void that you experienced as a kid that actually inspired you to build your amazing career and wealth?
You know, my father was the one, and all the men in my family, my uncles and things, but mainly my father, you know, to see him, I was very mature at a young age. And what I mean by that is I understood I was very lucky to have a man in the household because I saw many of my friends, they didn't have a father in their household. So I knew at an early age how blessed I was to have him there. And I saw how much, I understood how hard he was working to make sure he provided for me. And so I never took that really for granted, right? I went to the best private schools, even though I wanted to go to public school, but I really knew that, it was a difference, than what my friends was going to. And as I got older, I really understood like, wow, I wouldn't be in this position if he didn't put me through all these steps of going to private schools and being in my life and being hard on me and teaching me how to be a man. So he the one really inspired me. Um, uh, uh, One thing he used to say is he wanted me to be better than him, and um, and that inspired me. He retired at 51 years old. He's still living strong, going hard, and 50, 51, that's young. So that really inspired me, um, to be successful.
Amazing. And because you have built such a great career and you started actually from like you did it on yourself on your own, you built it everything, can you share some strategies, some principles that you used in order to find your niche, know what to do, have success in that niche? How did you make it?
That's a great question. I always knew that slow really means fast. So I really
I love
enjoyed
that.
the process and didn't rush anything. Um, Even though, it's hard not to rush it, but I understood that, it's a process. You had to take steps to get to where you need to be and where I wanted to be in life. Um, I did a lot of manifesting, and I'm a child of God, so I walk by faith and not by sight. So I understood it was going to be trials and tribulations, bumps in the road, but I had to keep faith and understood everything I was going through. Not saying that I wasn't having a battle in my mind was I going the right direction, but I had to have faith to keep going. So manifesting and a lot of praying and understanding what I wanted to do. It's always been my goal that I wanted to travel. Um, and see the world and just be very. I just wanted to be very successful. I I was blessed. If I wanted to go home right out of university, I could have went to the steel mill, which all of my friends pretty much went to who didn't go to university. They making 80 and 90,000 US dollars, 18, 19 years old. Um, but I betted on myself. I didn't want to go that route. I didn't, I knew if I took a job like that at an early age, it was going to be a trap. If I get that type of money, then I'm gonna buy a car, then I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna get that. So I was mature enough to understand, no, I don't want that. I'm gonna bet on myself. I want to really go this other direction and roll the dice. And if it didn't work, I had that cushion that I can always go back to East Chicago and go work in the steel mill.
Wow, I really love that. Like, as you said, slow is fast. I wish like many young people would really understand that when they just start, and it's that temptation, to take jobs, don't follow maybe educational path which takes longer, go to buy cars, live fancy lifestyle, but without building the basics, like the solid basics that will actually maintain you up there. I love
And
that.
one thing, if you look at babies, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
really look at the process, I have a lot of, I grew up around a lot of babies and kids and nephews, cousins younger than me. And when you watch them and study them, it's a process for them to walk, so they would crawl first. And then eventually the mind would tell them it's a slow process. They want to get up and walk. And how many times did they fall and get hurt, start crying, right? These are trials and tribulations, but they still get up and try to walk, even though it hurts when they fall. They still get up and try to walk. Then they fall again. They still get up and try to walk. And this process happens over and over and over again until they finally start walking. It was a slow process. It was a lot of pain, but they got through it by having faith and
Yeah,
wanting
faith.
to walk.
Yeah,
So
I,
it's
I
a
love
slow
this
process,
metaphor. Thank you.
which
Yes,
became
exactly.
yes.
And now, the concept money can hold so many different meanings for each individual. And I'm really curious to know what money represents to you personally.
Money is just money. You can't take for me, I never worship money. Like I said, if I worship money, I would have went to that steel mill job right out of high school. So I really wasn't. My focus wasn't money. My focus more was money. I was not money, but enjoying what I do, and I understood money would come with that later on. It's a slow process, right? That eventually would speed up. But I never was chasing money. Money, you buy the cars, you buy the house and all that. You die, you can't take none of this stuff with you. It's left. You don't left to this, to your family members, or sometimes it just becomes abandoned. So I never worship money at all. Um, but I also understood it's not what you make, it's what you save, right?
Mm,
And then you having money, uh, don't get me wrong, it does a lot. It's good for, when you get sick, medical bills and things like that. So it does mean a lot. I'm not saying that, but I never went chasing money. I enjoyed the process. I definitely want to write a book one day of how to live a billionaire's lifestyle without being a billionaire. And
oh, you should tell me more about that.
I did it all about relationships, right? So I'm on private planes. Um, I don't own the plane, but I have access to private plane, right? So my lifestyle has been all built off my job is relationships, right? So my relationships is definitely that got me the lifestyle that I have and got my jobs, in the past that I have. But my network is my net worth. So
Exactly. And
I'm
actually,
definitely a billionaire when it comes to the network and all the
you are.
resources I have in that matter, right? So I think of it a little different. I do a lot of things. I go to a lot of places that money can't buy. When I go to the NBA games, right? I'm sitting on the floor a lot of times. There's a lot of billionaires sitting behind me looking at the back of my head. They couldn't buy that ticket because that ticket was not for sale. That ticket is only for, their top VIPs, right? So you couldn't buy that ticket. So it's all about relationships.
So I really love what you said, that you can value also other forms of wealth, because usually also my clients have this issue because they are so attached to only one form of wealth, which is money, and they don't see the other forms of wealth that we have in our lives. As network, as you said, the social part can be a super valuable asset. And I have a very interesting, yeah, please. Then I want to ask you something, but please just
I,
tell me
I,
what you
I
want.
I lived an amazing lifestyle. I wanted, like I told you earlier, I wanted to travel. Um, and I found a way. I got paid to travel. I got paid to be on in the best resorts in the world, on the best real estate in the world. I worked for a company, amazing company, when I first got out of university, named Club Med Resorts.
Mm-hmm.
At that time, Club Med Resorts would send us somewhere different every 6 months. So I'm living in Bali and Dominican Republic and Mexico and Bahamas on the best real estate, having a amazing lifestyle because they pay for everything. We're living on the resort. We're getting paid to have fun on the resort. People that's working and say they have a lot of money and all this, they didn't have enough money to live that lifestyle that I was living. And I was paid to be there and paid to live on that island.
And about that, what was the value that you were offering? Because of course it was a fair exchange. So what was the internal resource that you were actually offering so you can receive money, but not in form of money, but in form of lifestyle and all that you
Well,
mentioned.
we was getting money. We was getting money too,
Okay,
and
and money,
lifestyle. But the
money and
the
money.
the value that most people bring for Club Med was you have to be a people's person. Your personality, your mindset. Everywhere wherever the guest is at, you need to be at. So if you're an introvert, no, Club Med wouldn't work for you. But if you're a people's person, that was the best job. It was a blessing for me to have that job. And to mingle with people from all over the world that I would never be able to mingle with in East Chicago, right? And having different cuisines that I never had before in East Chicago. So it opened my eyes to a whole new world, but it helped me sharpen my gift was me having a great personality and having the gift of gab to be able to mingle with people from Italy, from France, from Australia, and get paid for doing that, for being
And
a great host.
exactly, and serving those people, helping
Yes,
them, supporting them.
and
So
the
what you're saying
hospitality.
is that so you
Yes,
actually have a high value on serving others that help
yes.
you to build up your fortune, your network, and you didn't need to have the money in order to start being in the wealthy circles. That's
A
amazing.
lot. I was reading a story the other day. It was a guy who was saying a black guy from America. He said his sister worked all her life. She was 60 years old, worked all her life to get wealth. And when the day she retired, 2 days later, she died. She didn't even get a chance to spend her pension, her retirement money. So all her life, she worked to get to a point to get to whatever she thought was wealth. She ended up dying, not being able to spend it. That never made sense to me. I want to enjoy life because you only got one life to live. So I'm not going to chase it, spend my time chasing my whole mind is just about money. I never looked at somebody else's backyard, right? I concentrated on my backyard, right? Now, in the beginning, when I was young, I wanted to find her clothes in life. I wanted, the Louis Vuittons and all that. And I still wear Louis Vuitton, but I had this shirt for years. I'm not buying no more Louis Vuitton. Why? Because I'm certified. I don't need to buy that no more. So I really don't. I'm certified. I can go in Walmart and be happy to buy a shirt right now. And and don't worry nothing about it, because people that knows me know I can afford that shirt if I really wanted to buy the Louis Vuitton, but I don't want it no more. But I could get it if I wanted to, and they know this, right? But
And I love that, because it's always this balance between how to value money, and as you said, save it, take care of it, and how to also enjoy life. And sometimes people go into extremes. They even just spend everything to enjoy the max of life, or they just save, and as you gave the example, don't get to enjoy it. So what was your balance in terms of money management? How did you do it?
you know what? I never lived beyond my means, right? I really looked at other people that was playing, so many stories of people, professional NBA players, Mike Tyson, who went through a, 300 million US dollars. So when I'm seeing this at a young age, I already knew like having, $2 or $3 million is nothing. If somebody can go be broke after $3 million, $300 million. There was a basketball player named Antoine Walker who ended up losing all his money. He made over $80 million in his career, and he went broke. So if I'm seeing this at a young age, I already understood, man, money money is very, if you don't pay attention to it, it's easy to lose it. No matter how much money you have, you always want something. So I always never tried to live beyond my means. I never been in debt. I'm not going to buy a Louis. I'm not going to go buy a Lamborghini and can't afford it, or will have trouble or stressing me out to try to impress other people. I didn't need to do that, right? But now with my lifestyle and all that, I get driven. I can get driven around with a driver now, and don't have to own a car. So I have access to things like that. I have many
So
friends
basically, you managed to get paid for doing what you love, and doing what you love and be paid for that, which I
and
think,
get paid for and have all
so then you can also.
the luxury things around. And like I said, this started right out of college. This just didn't start now. In Club Med, like I said, I had access to everything. I didn't have to pay for anything, but we was paid to be there. You
I'm
know,
curious. Mhm.
my 23rd birthday party when I turned 23 was on a yacht, free, because Club Med had a yacht. So I had my birthday party on a yacht. If Instagram and them was available at that time, oh, it would really be crazy because I'm really on the yacht, didn't pay a dime, and was paid pretty much paid to be on the yacht and have my friends on there. So it's amazing. It's amazing. But I always live beyond my means. So when I have a really nice condo. But I had this condo, not when I get more money, I'm not going to go get another condo. I'm content of the condo and the great, great things I have right now. I'm not going to go and try to get something else to try to impress anybody. So I think most people do a lot of things to try to impress the next person. And I just never was that person because those people know already. They know already, I love going into a place and being, acting like I don't have nothing. My friends be like, this dude over here acting like he broke. And he know he done. Yeah, I said, I'm content. But they know.
Amazing. Yeah, because you don't need to feel like some void. This is what you're saying. You're just fulfilled from inside.
Right. And those that know, they know. They know, like my name. They call the most unknown but known person in the world. Meaning the average person wouldn't know me, but your Wolf Blessers know me. Your David Beckhams know me. Your Donnie Yens know me. Your Ed Cohen's know me. The guy who owns the Washington Nationals, Vincent Company, football, who just got his another job in soccer, meaning, football, I mean soccer. So those people know me, but your average person wouldn't know me.
Amazing. I just love that. Everything you're saying. It's amazing. And I wanted to ask you, because of course, we all are humans and we sometimes might have beliefs that are not, let's say, favorizing our growth. Did you have such limiting beliefs in your life that you perceived that it was stopping you? And how did you manage to just break through them?
You know what? When you have strong faith and you manifest, and if you don't ask for it, you will not receive it. No, I my words. I have two words that I use, and I always tell people: mindset and pivot. My mindset, I would pivot when things is not going the right way for for a while. I would pivot, mean I would change it up with the quickness. And if it's any negative energy, meaning people around me, I get them out my circle. I remove myself from that energy. All right. So anything right now, I'm so much in a great place. Even when something negative happened, you know, my pastor always said what's already written cannot be erased. I believe all of this stuff was already written already. It was nothing I had to go through this. Right. It was, so I feel in my mind it's a test. My faith is being tested. Okay, I don't like the test, but it's a test. It was already written. I got to go through this to get to wherever destination I'm trying to get to. So I have to go through it, and I will not lose faith.
So basically, you see things on your way, not in your way.
Yes.
Everything that happens. That's amazing.
Yes,
and
I just like this interview. I believe it started way back when I got into Club Man. So this progress happened to now me and you doing the interview. If none of that process had happened, me and you wouldn't be here right here today.
Exactly. I love that. And actually, there is one universal law that I use in the processes I work with my clients. It's called law of duality. And it actually says what you're saying. Like in each experience that we have the both poles, negative and positives together. We cannot separate it. They are just together. So it's on you which poles you want to get attached on, or if you want to see them both and just see an experience like any other experience. That's amazing. Okay.
Yes.
I wanted to also ask you, because your career involves a lot of high profile connections, as you told me. How did you manage to build this network? What are some skills that, let's say, a person who dreams to have this career should focus on to develop in order to be able to be in this position?
That's another great question. And I'm going to go back to saying I was very mature um, at a very young age. I would say around 11, 12, 13, coming up in East Chicago. It's a rough place, but I understood the value of knowing the right people. I love basketball. So a lot of times basketball, the best basketball is played in the rough areas, right? So I never thought it was cool to join the gang. I always been a leader, not a follower. So I never had to worry about that. But I did know had to know who was the top dogs in each area. So when I do go there to play basketball, or whether I'm chasing a girl or something, I had a pass because I knew the right people. So at a young age, I understood the power of networking, uh, street politicking, we call it in East Chicago. You know, street politicking was very important. So everywhere I would go, everybody would know who Reggie Martin was, um, and um, and I learned that at a young age. I really did learn that start learning that at 11, 12 years old, and that just carry on. You
How did you
know,
learn it? I'm curious. How did you learn it? What made you think about that at 11, right? Like, what was the shifting event in your life?
you know what? I think it. Sure, I just think it. Like I said, I was born with the gift of gab. I was born. I was naturally born to to go get it, to be that person, to you know know the right people in the right places. And this started at 11 years old. And then I just happened when I got in high school, it just even got bigger because you live in Europe, but in America, high school basketball is a big deal, um, a real big deal. And my best friend was the number one high school basketball player in the United States at the time. So and my cousins was ranked in the nation. So I was going on trips with them to visit colleges or going to some of their games and things like that. So I was in here networking while they playing. I'm in the stands networking, seeing which coaches who like, oh, that's Coach Katie and all these big time coaches. I wanted them to know who Reggie Martin was, because I might want to, have a job with them one day. So I was meeting all these people back in high school already and taking advantage of my best friend in high school was well, I had two uh, great friends in high school, and they both was number one and number two in the country. And so everybody wanted them to come to their university. So I was around a lot of powerful people. And I would have been really ignorant not to take advantage of that opportunity to meet all these people. And I knew that. I knew this was not normal. So I needed to get in there and let them know who Reggie Martin was when that door opened.
Amazing. So, what are some manifestation techniques, if you have any, or do you do something special in order to connect with the law of attraction and connect with God and the universe in order to manifest?
Well, faith is number one. You got to have strong faith and patience.
Mm-hmm.
And patience is a thing that 99 no 90%, 95% of the world people don't have in the world. is patience and understanding. Like I say, slow means fast. So I already put it in my mind. It's not going to happen overnight, but it always happened on time. So when I did want something, when I asked for it, and it didn't happen at that time, but then 10 years later it happened, I always go back and talk to God like, man, thank you, God. If you would have gave me that back 10 years ago, I would have fumbled. I wasn't ready for it 10 years ago, but now you gave it to me now. I'm I'm ready for it because I went through all the trials and tribulations and the ups and downs of getting to this point that is on time right now. So slow is always fast with me in my life. I can't talk for the next person, but my
And
life,
also,
it always happened like that. When things do come, when I first asked for it, I wanted it at that time, but didn't come. But then when it come back 2 or 3 years later, I always got to look and say, "Oh my God, thank you, God," because if you'd gave it to me at that time, I wasn't ready for it. So
so
He had to
also,
make evolve, evolve into it.
and what I sense in you, it's also that you have this gratitude. You don't live from mindset of scarcity, of lack. You always see that you have it all already, that you already have everything that you wanted. And I think this is a very important principle of manifestation that people don't really understand, because if you want something from feeling bad that you don't have that, and you don't see the forms you have it already, then it's less possible to really attract that in your life, right?
Well,
So
I the one thing I do know that I'm highly favored, and this life that I've been living is really not normal for anybody. It's just been amazing. This just not, normal. A lot of the things, that I experienced and been through, a lot of people don't know my story. I was a general manager at Playboy, you know, with Hugh Hefner, you know what I'm saying? So I had all these, amazing experiences and things that it's just, I do know it's not normal, and I'm very thankful and grateful for everything. Boy from East Chicago, flying on private planes, being on the floor at the NBA game, going to soccer games, sitting in the box with the royal fan. These things is not normal. This is not normal where I come from. So, and I'm very thankful and grateful. I don't take it for granted because I understand it can be easily taken away from like that.
and
I
that's
seen it.
that's very important.
Oh, I seen it happen. Seen
Yeah.
it happen to people. So, that wasn't thankful and grateful, right? So, that's for me. I'm only speaking for
Yeah, of
myself.
course.
Yeah.
This is what we want to hear from you and your perceptions, your experiences. And from your perception and experiences, what would
Let-
be an advice? Yeah.
Can can I go back to a question you said about the
Yes,
money? And you
please.
said a lot of people chasing wealth. This is
Sure.
funny. The- what we think of wealth and what we think of successful people is a lot of people think, not myself, is very I would say overrated, and for me, and I explain that, meaning if you got a guy that's working downtown, he has a suit on, he's working downtown, wherever city, New York, Paris, London. We said, wow, he's very successful. You know, he might be making, 90, 100,000 starting off, on up, right? But then you got in East Chicago, and he's living downtown. Let's say the guy work and he lives downtown in a nice condo. So we said this guy is very successful. But then you got a guy, let's say, living in East Chicago. He's working as a garbage man. He's making 80, 90,000. but he has a big house. But we don't say he's successful either. So for so who's successful? A guy that's living in the condo or the guy that got a big house? This guy making more money, but living in an apartment building. But this guy has his own land, front yard, backyard. And he's a guy. But we like to just say that person's successful. In my mind, no, both of them are very successful in their own way.
Exactly. So basically, we do not have to label success by looking around, like to try to fit in. So rather than try to fit in, it's better to focus to stand out, because everybody can fit in, but
I,
not so
when
many
people
people have
I
courage to stand out.
you right, but people coming to me always say, "Man, I'm proud of you, very successful." I say, "Man, we all successful in our own way. In our own way, we all successful. If you are able to pay bills, take care of your family, if you're married, got kids, you are very successful already."
Amazing. And what would you advise a person who might not be happy with his life right now, considering that he's not on his way? What would you what
Okay,
advice
well,
would you give to
that, that
that person?
that's not a fair question. When you say not happy, give me a scenario. Give me a scene. Give me a scenario. Do this person got a roof over their head? Are they living in an apartment?
Yeah, they have it, but they just feel inside that something is not. They compare themselves to others, and they
So
perceive they are not good enough.
I
Comparing.
would tell them to go to YouTube and go look at the people living in refugee camps. And you take one of those people and you bring them to their apartment and see how those people look at their apartment. They will look at their apartment like these people are rich. You understand? Or go look
Yes,
at somebody
totally. I love it.
living under a bridge. I watch this stuff all the time because it keeps me humble. Right. When I start getting off track, I go to YouTube and watch one of these things and you hear these stories. This is real. People living in refugee camps, and what you think you don't have, these people will come into your home and be like, you are rich. You understand what I mean? So
I
that's
understand, and I think that's a
exactly
very
where
valuable, because
I
you
would
don't own your richness. You are rich, but you don't own your richness because you compare your richness with
too
other
busy
people.
looking at somebody else's backyard and not seeing the
Exactly.
blessing that you have. And other people will come in there that don't have not even close to that and look at you like you foolish.
Amazing. And if you make that shift, your inspiration already starts to, and
That's why I
creativity
told
come.
you right. That's what I told you a while back. Mindset.
Yeah.
People, you change your mindset, it change your mind, it change your world.
Amazing. This was so inspiring. You have put so many universal laws by doing examples from your own life with such simple words to understand. And then I really hope that also you guys that are watching this video feel the same inspiration and motivation to start changing our mindsets and being grateful for what we have. Change
I,
when it's not working, but never stay in there sad and unhappy because things are not as we want. I
I
really
mean,
love that.
it's I like watching YouTube probably more than regular TV, and you have so many people. I'm not knocking them, but they call themselves inspiring people or motivating people, and they all start off like you can have this if you work hard. They all standing next to a Tesla or Rolls Royce. So you can have this if you just work hard and all that. And it's amazing that people was looking at a lot of people, how can I say it, look at their life and say they're not successful because they don't have that. And for me, and you got a Toyota. If you got a Toyota car, brother, you know how many people who don't even have a car.
Exactly.
Right. So they too busy looking at that. You don't need that. You already successful. A car is a car. It's a car.
I really I agree with everything you say, and this is actually what I'm working with people that come to me to help them make this mindset shift. And I've seen incredible results actually that people get into their lives when they start having this perspective that you are mentioning of being grateful, don't seeing things in your way but on your way, and these principles. So thank you so much, Reggie, for accepting my invitation for this talk and sharing your thoughts with us. And you guys, I see you at the next one. Thank you so much for watching our show.
Thank you. God bless.